Hey all, welcome to TSR Let's Plays, and this is my first Let's Play for the channel. We're doing our first game in the Zelda series, A Link to the Past.
Because none of us wanted to play Zelda 1 or Zelda 2. Both of them were kind of jank.
I'm Alex.
I'm Lagan.
I am you.
And we're actually using the SNES, not Classic, wow. We're using the SNES Online function to actually do this. Yeah.
Long ago in the beautiful kingdom of Hyrule, surrounded by mountains and forests.
We just started this Let's Play and there's already a freaking...
Legends told of an omnipotent and omniscient golden power that resided in a hidden land.
Why did you sound like a hillbilly? Time will tell.
That's a joke. Many people aggressively sought to enter the hidden golden land. Unfortunately, the cowboy stopped them, and no one ever returned. One day, evil power began to flow in the
and they
golden
lost
land.
the Super Bowl. They lost the Super Bowl of the Hyrule.
So the king commanded 7 wise men to seal the gate to the land of the golden power of Cowboy Man.
You know, this game's a lot fucking funnier if you think of every character as like Western cowboy
That
people.
seal should remain for all time, with the 6 sages and the 1 short one.
Okay. Before
But when
we
these
go
events
with that,
were obscured by the
why
mist
is
of time, it became legend.
Why is that one so short though? Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We see the super effects of the super FX.
The super effects of the super effects.
Okay, this still
The king is dead.
Yeah.
The mysterious wizard known as Ganem came to Hyrule to release the seal. He turned the king into a skeleton.
Gary? Yes, the mystical wizard known as Gary stole people and locked the princess. Yeah, my name is Gary. You shall fear me. Fear me.
Evil, I am
Fear
Gary.
my wrath, for I am the evil
Through evil
Gary.
magic, he did something to make descendants of the 7 wise men vanish one after the other. He captured them and made them go to sleep. Poof.
Oof.
And
In time of destiny for the Princess Zelda is drawing near.
So who do you control? But some little hillbilly kid.
Called Link. We're already seeing this intro, but we're gonna play it again because it's so amazing. Why did you pause it?
I hit the wrong button. When you on the SNES Online, when you double tap the triggers, unfortunately, it brings up another menu, which might trip me up a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, alright. We're finally at the naming screen. Any suggestions before
Robert.
I'd make a decision? Why?
Robbie.
Because Dick is going to.
You know what? Name him Billy to go with the whole hillbilly.
Name him Richard. Name him Richard. Because Gary is going to be stopped by the power of the Dick.
Well, we only have 6 characters. I don't think Richard is 6 letters, is it?
Okay, then go Dick.
Hey, Dick.
You know what? Yeah.
You know what? Better idea.
Okay, Boomer.
For fuck's sake, dude.
Considering the age that this came out, he would be a boomer.
He probably would.
Zoomer.
We could do... Zoomer?
Can we please not making it mean? We can create our own.
Are you okay?
Oh my god. Oh god,
Rookie?
Rookie. H.
Or, since we're gonna name the wizard Gary, how about Ash?
Why Ash?
You know what? Yes. Let's go with that.
Oh yeah, let's go with that. Yeah, never mind.
Help me.
Help me.
Help me. Please help me. My gosh. My golly gee. I'm a prisoner in this dungeon of the castle.
Why do you have this accent?
Why does he got Mario accent? Yeah.
It's a Southern Belle. for the fucking country. The wizard Gary has done something.
Ding, ding, ding.
Wait, okay. So it's not Mario, it's Mickey. Okay, Mickey Mouse. Okay, I got it.
What? No. Okay, the wizard Gary has done something to other missing girls. Now only I remain. Gary has seized control of the castle and is now trying to open the 7 wise men's seal. ... I'm in the dungeon of the castle.
What is that, the castle of the mouse?
Huh?
Ash, I'm gonna be here for a while. Be back by morning. Don't need the house.
You sound like the damn country people from South Park.
Are we going to ruin this entire game with our
Yes.
bad topic?
This game has been LP'd and done by so many people that fuck it. We're a bunch of hillbillies now. Come back, Uncle! First, let me steal your fucking lantern, which you can get early in the game, but you will get one later in the game if you didn't pick it up here.
Yes, you can throw the pots.
Yes,
which
you can't. Well, obviously, this
is a feature who... Actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this was also a feature in Link's Awakening, which No, actually, Link's Awakening didn't come before this. So this was the game where this first was a thing. Link finally became a pot destroyer in this game.
Yeah, this is the game where you finally become a vandalizer.
I actually am surprised about the fact that you can actually use those pots as weapons, you know? Like,
yeah,
you wouldn't think of that.
Yeah,
you wouldn't think of that, but yeah, it's pretty effective.
Also, thanks to SNES technology, we can now jump.
And move in 8 directions.
Right, and way to get it before Final Fantasy ever could. So we're heading up to Hyrule Castle, obviously, and these guys look threatening. We're never going to see these gold people until way later in the game if we do at all, from what I remember. Help me! I'm in the dungeon of the castle. I know.
Next to the castle.
Whatever, lady. Yeah, yada yada yada. I don't have time for this. I need to go become a Pokemon master. All right, lady.
This is going to be the worst OP we have ever had.
Why are you gonna say that about my first? Dead Space was the worst.
Oh no, your uncle's dead.
Ash, I didn't want you involved in this. I told you not to leave the house.
Take my... Okay, I gotta stop this accent. Take my sword shield and listen. You can focus power in the blade. Hold the B button.
Okay, so he basically...
And release using a secret technique handed down by our people. The press of a button.
Ash, you can do it. Save the princess.
You can do it. Save the princess.
Zelda is your father. ... What were you saying, Yule?
Okay, so I was going to mention that this is one of my favorite Zelda games of all time, actually.
Nice. I love it a lot too.
In fact, I think that this is the best Zelda game. Now, a lot of people might argue that
2D, I will agree with you, but in 3D, very debatable.
You're going to, exactly. Like,
to get back to the game for a second. Okay. Well, no, you hold on. This is my LP, motherfucker.
Okay, what?
This is normally where you'd get the lantern if you didn't steal it from your uncle's house in the beginning of the game. But here it's 5 rupees because you had the hindsight to rob your dead uncle.
But anyway, you didn't know he would die, so you were just borrowing it.
What I was saying is that let's my train of thought again.
Now you know how it feels, motherfucker.
Beat him up with a bush.
Yeah!
Yes! Hey, you fuckers!
What is that weapon of destruction, boy?
Oh shit! Come here, I'm not done with you. Yeah. Continue, Yule.
So yeah, some people might argue that, there are better Zelda games like Breath of the Wild or Twilight Princess, which is also one of my favorite games, but I believe that this game is just quick enough and easy to play enough to the story didn't really age that well.
It's one of those Zelda. I mean, Zelda has always had a story bare bones crisis for a long time. This is one of the barest. I mean, it's one of the first that really gave the game a story, and in true Nintendo fashion, it shows. Fuck off.
Yeah, and like I said, it's pretty expensive, and it's pretty it's good for what it's worth, and that's why I appreciate it more over other Zelda, because it's pretty much it pretty much expanded on the formula and made it much better, especially because this is an evolution from the first Zelda game.
Right.
So yeah,
and
this is one of the reasons why I consider it the best Zelda game over other games like Breath of the Wild and stuff like that.
Yeah. Anyway, to talk about the game, that's the dungeon map. You pull up X, you can see every floor you're on in the dungeon, and obviously it's standard practice at this point. But these are some of the first games that these were introduced in. The dungeon maps, the compasses. I'm pretty sure Zelda 1 had some dungeon maps out there, but this is when the formula. This is like I was saying. This is the Zelda game in Legon. We're saying this is the Zelda game where the formula started, pretty much. Even Ocarina of Time kind of took this formula, so this is the precursor. Anyway, just to go back earlier, when you're entering the castle, you want to go take the west route because it is the safest route, and you always want to try to knock these guys off the ledge because you're a weakling and you kind of don't have the power to really deal with these people on an easy level. But if you can't, just kind of walk around them. You know, throw pots in their face until they fall off a ledge to death. Or just throw pots at them and they die anyway.
Yeah, and thankfully, this is not the Game Boy Advance port, where Link has the young Link screams from Ocarina of Time. Every time you swing the sword.
I always wondered exactly why they decided to go with young Link. Like, I'm pretty sure this Link is not a child, but
he is. He's around the same age as young Link. It's just so hard to tell because of the obvious
because of
pixel quality. Yeah. Anyway, here is where you get one of the most useful items in the game, arguably. You get the boomerang. Now, what the boomerang is you don't obviously just call people boomer and then hit with a stick. You could do that if you wanted.
Can you please not?
How it's useful is you hit an enemy with it and it freezes them in place for a couple seconds while you can wail on them. That's an item that stays genuinely... It's one of the most useful boomerangs in the series for that reason. And you can actually keep using it throughout a majority of the game if you're competent with it. To get a lot of cheap enemies killed.
I don't know. I give more credit to the Gale boomerang or whatever it's called because that boomerang not only can it stun enemies, but it can also give you a far easier time solving puzzles and stuff like that. And it can even catch some items for you. So
this can catch items for you as well. It's just got hit. You got a point. The Gale Boomerang in Twilight Princess is pretty useful, but I'd argue Twilight Princess in general suffers the problem of items being situational in dungeons. Anyway, this is one of the first boss enemies in the game. I can't remember their names exactly because I didn't really look up a guide, but this is one of the first tough enemies you're going to face in the game, and that's why you want the boomerang because you're just going to keep dunking on it with it, and you're going to get these free hits. This is the Master Key. This is pretty much the boss key would kind of be turned into this, but in this game, there are Master Keys that can open up the special item chests that you're going to get later in the game anyway. So the Master Key is better than the boss key in that regard, in that it's used for more than just the boss door.
I love this piece of music, by the way.
I'm going to say this right now. The sound chip of the SNES can really produce some magnificent tracks. But what really, but it shouldn't be surprising because it was designed by Sony. So, yeah.
Do you understand? Do you understand? Not at all. But let's go anyway, Princess.
By the way, I'm gonna loot your room.
Yeah, by the way, I'm gonna loot your prison. Ew! Why is there brown stuff in this chest?
Ew.
Yeah, I was going to say I was going to say that I agree with Legon that a lot of the tracks in this game are actually also precursors to staples in the franchise. That
was Zelda's theme pretty much, and it is one of the best themes in the game in my opinion.
Yeah, it's Zelda's lullaby, and it does get better in future games, but again, like most of the rest of the game that we're gonna talk about here, it made it stay in Link to the Past.
Yeah.
A lot of tracks did, yeah. Like even the Hyrule theme has had a lot of variations over the years, and obviously, who forgets the theme to the Dark World, the theme to the Dark World,
the theme to the Dark World,
the theme to the Dark World.
This is exactly the reason why I always believe that Zelda was the best game overall, because it set the trend.
You mean Link to the Past? You said Zelda. Zelda is the best game overall. No, yes.
Which one?
Zelda is the best. No, yes.
Why A Link to the Past is the best Zelda game? Like why this game is the best Zelda game? Because it sets the trend for so many staples in the Zelda franchise
in the series.
As a whole.
Yeah.
Like this didn't happen as frequently until Breath of the Wild, and that's because of the open world exploration aspect, which, you know, might continue to happen, might not. We still have to see how Breath of the Wild 2 end those things.
Turns out, yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's one of my favorite Zelda games too. Even though I prefer the 3D style, I definitely like Link to the Past for what it tried to do, and it's one of the most open games in the franchise, regardless. So, anyway, we're now down in the basement trying to smuggle Zelda out like we're some drug ring or something, and you're gonna deal with a lot of annoying. Yeah, the rats hurt, and they're some of the most annoying enemies early on because I'm not afraid to say this. This is one of the genuinely most challenging openings to a Zelda game in the franchise. To be honest, you're very weak and you have very little damage output, and you do have the boomerang. But there are so many things that can hit you in this opening section.
It's pretty much your only aid, and you don't have much else to go off of.
Yeah, so if you die, like look at that, look at all these snakes. Now, obviously, you want to pull out the boomerang to get a lot of them to slow down and get off your tail, but these can really, they really can pounce on you and just gang up on you really quick if you're not careful.
I think
so. You're going to keep switching between items.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and state my experience with this game, or at the very least, a lack thereof. I have not played this.
Oh my god.
Really? You've never played this? I can't blame him because...
No wonder he has a bias towards Breath of the Wild. Fuck him.
Well, okay, other than you being a cunt. I'm just kidding.
I'm just kind of dumb.
Well, I can see, like... I get why he likes Breath of the Wild the most. It is a really innovative... Jesus Christ, I'm already down to a heart and a half. It is very innovative, and it's very... But you also gotta understand, Legon, that this was Breath of the Wild for 90s kids.
Yeah, I'm not gonna...
It was very innovative.
I'm not gonna knock it any for that, because it really does deserve the praise that it gets, but I don't really have all that much experience with it. It's like, it's a great game, yeah, but I haven't played it myself. I've just played other Zelda games.
Actually, now that I think about it, isn't it weird that every single time we have a really innovative Zelda experience, it's almost always based on the original game?
A little bit, yeah. Because if you think about it, Link to the Past is a formula that the Zelda series would bank off of for decades to come. But Link to the Past is based off the original game in an updated formula with innovation added to it. But it's still the core of that base game that you played back in the day.
And one of the main inspirations behind Breath of the Wild's development was actually the original Zelda. So,
right. And that sense of exploration and going out to do things on your own and not necessarily having an easy guide, you know?
The world of Zelda was more the inspiration for Breath of the Wild than just the entire game in and of itself.
Exactly. So it makes me wonder: is it actually like the winning formula will always be, you know, it makes you wonder if the winning formula will always be, you know, basing off the original product.
It could. Anyway, oh, by the way, to tell a quick gameplay detail that's important to know, if you hold the B button, you can hold your sword out, and if you're fighting enemies, you can stab at them with it instead of just doing the spin attack. Continue with what you were saying.
Yeah,
very useful.
That's pretty much where I ended. I was just asking, well.
Oh, come on.
Do you think that maybe basing your design decisions on the original Zelda will actually innovate the formula, or do you think that it isn't really necessary to actually, you know, be better as a Zelda game?
I think that it's always a well that they could go back to, but I think now that they've kind of tapped that, well, it's tough to say because I might die, in shit. Because these rats are just so, aggressive, but I'm gonna try not to die. If I do, ooh, you can get a 20 rupee there. Yeah, Yeah, sometimes just cut your losses and leave.
Yeah.
And now this is where I might have a problem, because you're supposed... This is a randomized... I'm pretty sure this is randomized, isn't it, Evil? Where one of these levers will open the door, the other one will,
If it's really random, you might as well go ahead and utilize the SNES Online features and save state.
Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that.
I won't. But, okay, I'll take this freebie since I am so low health, because this enemy can beat you up really hard. The SNES Online gives you save states. And what you can do with these save states is, like real save states, you can just save state in the game, and you can go back to it when you load suspend point. It's really helpful in moments like this.
Here at TSR, we don't condone the use of emulation.
No, this is official emulation, so it doesn't count.
I don't condone the use of save states as much, but just to go into that real quick
it's really only something that we use on rare occasion.
Okay, well, let me talk.
Okay, you can go into detail about why.
I knew that I was going to tell him if I said that.
No, it's just like I keep telling Legon to stop finishing my points for me, and he still keeps doing it. But anyway, before I finish this conversation... Yeah, before I finish this conversation, my rules for save states are A, when I'm only exploring off-cam, when I'm practicing or looking out the next part of the game, and B, only going to use save states for moments like a certain heart piece later where I have to just keep trekking back and trying again, or if there are randomized placements on the map. Like, if you have to dig it out in a certain minigame.
RNG.
Yeah, RNG-based heart pieces are where I'm totally fine utilizing this save state feature. Other than that, I'm pretty much just going to be using the save system as proper. Destroy the wizard before he destroys all of Hyrule. You can do it. You can.
You must destroy the DVD of The Wizard.
Yes, who needs the power glove? We need to destroy all traces of its existence. So we need the 7 wise men.
Maybe
and I want you guys to know that we are Jesus.
But who is that?
Yes.
We'll find out soon enough. So why don't we just loot this room for... Do you understand?
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Not at all. Yes. Yeah.
Let's loot this place first.
Damn it, get out of my way, old man. Anyway, this is one of the rare occasions, too, where you actually get a full heart container in the first area of the game, as opposed to waiting till your first dungeon to get it. And you're gonna need it. This game, like I said, really has a tendency to beat you up.
Yeah, this game is hard. And
yeah, it is.
Now that we're done with the first area of the game, I think we should call it apart.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, we should, leader of the LP Legon, who is in control of this game and not me at all. We should call it apart.
Hey, I'm the one with the timer.
Alright. Well, I mean, this game doesn't have too many places. This game has a lot of places where I can definitely call it apart. But, yeah, I think I agree with Legon. We're going to call it apart and see you guys next time on A Link to the Past.